Top of the morning to you on today's show. We have a special inside look on our sports teams, March Madness brackets, see who they have to win it all, and how yesterday has already affected everyone's bracket.
Plus, stay tuned at the end of the show for a sweet pup that needs a home.
Get the coffee ready, hold on to your gold, and open up those eyes because you're waking up with Cardinal weather.
From Ball State Unified Media, you're waking up with Cardinal weather, live from the Ball State Weather Center.
Good Friday morning to you. You're waking up with Cardinal weather. I'm Alex Almanza.
And I'm Grace Bankowski.
And it's St. Patty's Day. It's always a special day. A lot of festivities going on. Of course, you and I, Chicago natives, we know the river. They always dye it green, and it always looks pretty crazy.
I know, it's awesome. Last week and all that action was happening. But I know here in Muncie, we actually have a parade ourselves going on tonight, as well as a few festivities this weekend, which we'll be able to get into later in the show.
Yeah, and I've got the green on already. Well, sort of. I guess eyes don't really count, but I guess that's all right. That's all right.
He gets a pinch later.
Our top story tonight, drivers in Muncie have something new to look forward to. New roads come 2025.
NewsLink Indiana's Olivia Slonaker has more about the city's plans.
As the warmer weather approaches, citizens have become well aware of the number of potholes and damaged streets in the city of Muncie. But the Public Works team wants to reassure the city that repaving is just around the corner. Their process just so happens to take longer than most like.
So the downside to that is that it takes a lot longer, it's more expensive, you won't see as much progress happening, but the roads that are completed are going to last a lot longer.
Last year, the Public Works team purchased their own milling equipment, which removes old asphalt and creates a new layer of fresh roads. This will allow for an additional 3 miles of neighborhood streets. They will target some of the busiest roads in the city, McGalliard, Tillotson, and Wheeling, to name a few.
For those projects, it's been a couple years in the works. We actually were able to get our timeline bumped ahead by a few years. So we're hoping that by 2025 we'll be able to repave those roads.
Once completed, these new roads will last about 15 to 20 years. In Muncie, Olivia Slonaker, NewsLink Indiana.
Now, in the meantime, drivers around town can catch the patch team filling in potholes with temporary asphalt. These workers will be out and about up until November. And a new hope in a tiny home project is expected to start construction sometime soon. The purpose of the project is to create a tiny house village in Muncie to give unsheltered people a place to live. Now take a look at this. The project, which was broken up into 2 semesters, was built into a pre-existing course that is part of Ball State's sustainability minor, that is. Students in the summer class designed the tiny houses, and students in the fall designed the site the project that would be on.
Who you're talking to. So if you are the city, the plan is to build some of these tiny house units. Unfortunately, we did lose the original site. So the students' work towards designing the site and towards designing the community building are no longer quite site-specifically relevant anymore.
And new in the classroom, a system is just a floor-to-ceiling whiteboard that fits up against the wall. Now pull the handle and in 10 seconds you have a safe room that locks from the inside. The area provides shelter from an active shooter and in the event of severe weather. The founder and CEO of KT Security Solutions came up with the idea after the mass shooting at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas. The 2 rapid deploy safe rooms are the very first in the nation. In Ball State, students can make some extra money by helping their community.
Yeah, that's right. While Indiana has experienced a preschool through 12th grade teacher shortage, the substitute teacher shortage is much larger. To help ease the stress, Ball State's recent partnership with Muncie Community Schools has created a substitute academy. Now, in an email sent out to Ball State students, it details how requirements for substituting in Indiana are at a level where any student with any major attending Ball State is eligible. The Academy will help Ball State students become familiar with the process and be more comfortable in the classroom. Plus, get this, you will be paid. Now, information sessions were held this past week, but of course, more information can be found at bsu.edu.
A new study shows one key to keeping a child happy, healthy, and performing well in school is making sure that they get enough sleep. Now, that shouldn't be news to anyone, but researchers looked at 100 kids in New Zealand to figure out exactly how much sleep they need. It's a relative number and not concrete. Scientists used the time each child normally went to bed as a reference point, then had them to try to go to bed an hour later and an hour earlier. They found that when kids went to sleep an hour later, they typically woke up 18 minutes later. That means 39 minutes is the most amount of sleep they can lose from however long they usually sleep without having to make up for it. It should be said that any amount of lost sleep resulted in a decline in their well-being. The study appears in JAMA Network Open.
Well, another streaming service, it's raising its rates. The price for YouTube TV is jumping from $65 a month to, get this, $73. Now, that's more than 12% increase. YouTube TV says it's due to rising content costs. New members should have started to see the higher prices yesterday. Now, existing customers will pay the new rate beginning on April 18th. YouTube TV recently dropped the MLB network, but still has more than 100 channels like ABC, Fox, and NBC. Meanwhile, YouTube is lowering the cost of its 4K plus add-on from $20 a month to $10.
Now taking a look at your first local weather. This morning is not a great start to St. Patrick's Day. I will be the first one to say that, mainly because of the rain showers we are experiencing and the colder temperatures that are in our area. So taking a look outside right now, we got 39 degrees in Muncie, 35 degrees here in Indianapolis, but as we can see out west, much colder temperatures are on the way into the area this morning. And that's because we've actually, unfortunately, already hit our high temperature of the day, so it's just downhill from now. But when you factor in those winds, it can be even colder. So taking a look now, 30 degrees now with that wind chill. I mean, again, looking out west, 17 degrees. So if you are headed out today or this morning on the way to class or anything, be sure to bundle up because you will you will feel it there. Now, the main reason for all this is this low pressure system to our north that is bringing showers into the area. So we can see just mainly light showers moving through right now, and they're not very heavy, but matched with those winds, it's kind of miserable out there right now. So what we're tracking on the show today is rain early, flurries for Saturday, and a sunny start to spring.
All right, we're looking forward to it. Just ahead, March Madness is here, and our sports team is giving us the rundown of the bracket and what they expect to see during the tournament.
And that's after your weather now.
Welcome back to Cardinal Weather. I'm Ryan Saraki.
And I'm Zach Greer, and March Madness is here. Over the next few weeks, 68 teams will compete to see who will become the national champion.
That's right. With the tournament starting yesterday, let's check out who performed the best, who's the biggest loser, and our most anticipated matchups of today. Now, in terms of best performance, I'm going to have to go with the Duke Blue Devils, the 5 seed out of the East region. Last night, they defeated the 12 seed Oral Roberts, who are led by Max Asmus, and a lot of people had them as an upset candidate. The Duke defense last night, silencing that crowd in a 23-point victory. Duke guard Jeremy Roach led the way with 23 points, and head coach John Shire is leading this Duke team to arguably be the hottest team in the country right now.
Yeah, I mean, they have been unbelievable the past couple of weeks for Duke. But another team that has been unbelievable as well is the Alabama Crimson Tide, the number one overall seed out of the South region, taking care of Texas A&M Corpus Christi yesterday, with Brandon Miller being completely scoreless for Alabama, the consensus best player on the team. NBA draft pick. I mean, he was just completely shut down, and Alabama was able to take care of business. Now, a lot of teams were able to play really well yesterday, but there were some teams that didn't quite live up to expectations.
That's absolutely correct, and I think the biggest disappointment was obviously the Arizona Wildcats, who lost to the 15 seed, the Princeton Tigers, out of the Ivy League. Arizona struggled for all 40 minutes against the Tigers, and to be honest with you, Tommy Lloyd's squad is waking up upset this morning. They had a very nice path in the South region to make it to the regional final, and they won't be able to do that after getting on upset watch in the first round.
Yeah, the South region is a little shaky in my opinion, and another team that was unfortunately falling yesterday was the Virginia Cavaliers, falling to Furman with a final score of 68-67, with J.P. Pukes hitting a game-winning shot for Furman. Now, Virginia has lost in the first round 3 of the last 4 years now, and it has been unbelievable to see the fall from them after winning the national championship in 2019. Now, there were a lot of great games that went on yesterday, but we've got another amazing slate of first-round games today. What's a matchup today that you are looking forward to?
There's a lot going on today. I'm laser focused on Kentucky-Providence tip-off set for 7:10 p.m. And honestly, there's a lot of narrative riding on this one. John Calipari's squad hasn't won a tournament game in over 1,450 days. And Providence is led by guard Bryce Hopkins, averaging 16 points per game. Notable to mention that he's a Kentucky transfer, so it's going to be interesting to see how that one plays out tonight.
Yeah, and a matchup that I really am looking forward to is actually reigning from the Midwest region. It's the 4 seed Indiana Hoosiers going up against the 13 seed Kent State Golden Flashes. This is going to be an amazing matchup. Now, IU is led by Trace Jackson Davis, the consensus All-American, the first All-American for the Hoosiers. Since 2013, going up against the Kent State Golden Flashes, they've got Sincere Carey, they've got Myron Thomas, and they've got Malik Jacobs, the MAC Defensive Player of the Year. Now, tip-off for that game is set at 9:55, and the rest of the games that are going on today. But forgetting Indiana and forgetting Kentucky, we've got plenty of other games going on. So let's send it over to Andy Newman and Jace Miller, who's also in the studio with us.
Thanks, Ryan and Zach. Obviously, the first 16 games of the March Madness tournament already over in the first round. Let's take a look at the next 16 games. I'm Andy Newman.
I'm Jace Miller.
And let's take a look. All right, obviously, well, let's start with yesterday first. Yesterday's 2 big games of the day, Princeton upsetting number 2 Arizona and Furman upsetting number 4 Virginia. It happens every year, but it's always fun to see.
I mean, like you said, fun to see, entertaining, very enjoyable to watch. All came down to the wire, and I think that's what makes it that way.
Yeah, Princeton may have busted my bracket just a little bit, but it's always fun to watch a 15 seed upset a 2 seed. All right, let's take a look at the games starting out today. Creighton taking on NC State. I have Creighton going actually pretty far, so I think they're going to take care of NC State pretty quickly. And then UCSB versus Baylor. You have UCSB upsetting number 3 Baylor here.
I do. I think they were hot going into the tournament. I think they're going to continue that streak and take it to the next round.
I can't say I agree, but we'll kind of see. And then one of the big ones for everyone here in the Hoosier State, Purdue taking on FDU. Purdue's the number 1 seed. I think that they take care of this one here.
I do too. I mean, Purdue, they have the tallest man, Zach Edey, 7'4".
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, the FDU coach chirping a little bit, saying the more he thinks about it, the more he thinks he can beat Purdue. But when your average height is the shortest in the tournament,
yeah,
I think you're going to struggle.
Zach Edey is the best in college basketball right now, so I think he takes care of business against this 16 seed. Looking at Kentucky and Providence, obviously Ryan earlier, right before us, said Kentucky was his big winner of the day. I think that is correct, I believe.
Right.
Oh, yeah. And then Kansas State and Montana State, I think Kansas State takes care of this one as well. And then Michigan State, USC, the 7-10 games, you really enjoy those.
I do. I mean, 7-10 games I think are always fun to watch.
Yeah.
They always bring good entertainment because it is right off from the 8-9 seed, which is more the middle seeding and more fair.
Yeah. So I think Michigan State takes care of this one pretty easily. And then Vermont and Marquette, I accidentally took Vermont in my bracket because I thought that'd be the 15 seed to upset, but I think Princeton's already taken that number, so I think Marquette takes care of business here.
I do too. I'll agree with you there.
Yeah. And then Drake taking on Miami. I think we have Miami taking this one pretty easily. And then big one of the day for Hoosier fans, Hoosier fans. Indiana taking on Kent State. Kent State, a lot of MAC love here, and everyone thinks that Kent State's gonna win somehow, but I think IU takes care of this one pretty handedly.
I mean, like Zach and Ryan said, a matchup of the day, and I wholeheartedly agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, Mike Woodson, he's going to bring the guys in, Jalen Hood-Schifino, Trace Jackson Davis. I think they're going to take the win.
Yeah, I think they take care of it here. And then Iowa State, Pitt. I actually have Pitt upsetting Iowa State there. And then Xavier, Kennesaw State, I have Xavier taking care of business there as well. And then St. Mary's, VCU. I actually have VCU beating St. Mary's. I always love those 5-12 seeded games. I always think that always give the advantage to the 12 seed just because I need some upsets in my bracket, you know.
Right.
And then TCU and Arizona State, TCU, UConn and Iona, UConn hopefully here for my bracket's sake, and then Gonzaga and GCU. We have Gonzaga taking this one. That's all for us here at the big board. Back to Alex and Grace at the desk.
Thanks so much, guys. In just a moment, we have a look at the cold weekend ahead, but a warm week to follow in our full local forecast.
Plus, what weather is like looking nationally. That's after your weather now. Welcome back. The current time is 8:16. Almost flew up there. You're taking a live look outside at Cooper Science Building. It's a bit of a rainy one. Raining. First, Pfizer is recalling more than 4 million packages of prescription migraine medication. The company says the packaging for Nurtec ODT is not child resistant. The recall is voluntary. Now, Pfizer says that people don't need to throw away or return the medicine, but instead keep it out of the reach of children. Customers are also urged to call to get a free child-resistant pouch. The company says there have been no injuries or incidents related to the recall. It also says there are no quality issues or health risks for patients using the drug as prescribed. Pfizer is now developing new child-proof packaging. You can find more information about the recall at Pfizer.com.
Here's something you may have not considered while planning your next beach vacation. An onslaught of sargassum seaweed might be moving to Florida with stretches so large they're actually visible from space. The European Space Agency is sharing this satellite image. It's not one giant mass, but rather a slew of teardrop-shaped blobs that stretch over 60 miles in the Atlantic Ocean. Another image shows two stretches in the Caribbean Sea spanning about 7 miles. Now, most of the seaweed is still hundreds of miles from the U.S., but some is off the coast of Key Largo now. If too much of it comes on shore, it can overwhelm beaches, rot on the sand, and give off a bad smell. It could also irritate your nose and lungs.
Florida has seaweed coming from the east and a large band of storms coming from the west. That's part of the system that has been moving through our nation, as we can see here on the national radar. We do have this large band of storms, again, that low pressure just a little bit north of us over Lake Huron, moving through the area, and we do see some more intense pockets down here in Louisiana, Mississippi, moving towards Georgia and again Florida. But throughout the nation, we do have a couple watches and warnings in effect. A freeze warning up here throughout most of the state of Arkansas, and a freeze watch throughout the northern parts of, again, Mississippi and Alabama, a little bit up there in Tennessee as well. Texas is seeing a wind advisory on the back end of that storm that moves through. And if they're in North Mexico, Albuquerque, you are seeing some winter storm warnings and some winter storm watches. Now looking at the national currents, 9 degrees up there in Minneapolis. So we've already hit our high today here at Muncie, and we can see that cold front moving through from Texas all the way up here. 39 degrees in Muncie, 49 degrees in Los Angeles. So again, a little bit warmer than what we are seeing throughout the nation, but Minneapolis not going to be seeing too much of warmer temperatures. 13 degrees up here in Minneapolis. Again, we've already reached our high here. 42 degrees in Cincinnati, 77 degrees down there in West Beach. Moving a little bit further west, you are going to be seeing again those cooler temperatures moving down. 37 degrees in Denver. But not only is it St. Patrick's Day, it's also a very big day for people all around the globe. Millions of Americans are going to be seeing Taylor Swift for the first time live in 5 years in Swift City, Arizona. Used to be known as Glendale, Arizona. So your forecast for that, you are going to be seeing mostly clear skies, 71 degrees for your high there. Winds coming from the west at around 5 to 10 miles per hour. So if you are going to the show tonight, you might want to keep your eyes open for some of those passing clouds. Definitely going to be safe and sound though as you move through the night. You would not have better weather even if this was a movie. But looking at the rest of the nation, we are going to be seeing below average temperatures throughout most of the west. We're also going to be seeing some warmer temperatures here as we move through the week. Back to you guys at the desk.
All right,
so
thank
much,
you so
Oliver.
much, Oliver. Scientists think that they've found proof that there may have been water on Mars. They discovered what appears to be the remains of a glacier near the red planet's equator. Now, that ice is no longer there, but evidence shows that it may have once come in the form of salt deposits, which appear to have been pushed by moving glaciers. Now, researchers also found deep wedge-shaped openings known as crevasse fields. Those form inside glaciers, but they also believe those features were preserved when materials from a nearby volcano came into contact with the ice. If there really was a glacier there, that means there might still be water somewhere on Mars. And back here at home, we're definitely seeing a lot more water than Mars.
Yes, we are. This morning, just walking here wasn't the greatest in the studio there, with the rain and the wind as well. But taking a look at some current temperatures around the area right here, we're going to be 39 here in Muncie, a little colder in Indianapolis. And again, like I was saying before, out west, that colder air will be moving through the area as well. Looking at these 24-hour temperature changes, we can see big changes are on the way. Again, west, very cold. Where we are here, we're right on that line, just starting to get a little colder there. But I want everybody to see over in Ohio, actually, Dayton and Cincinnati are still warmer. That cold front has yet to hit there. It was the same cold front that Oliver was just talking about a minute ago. Taking a look at our current radar, we can see these showers moving through the area. We can actually see the cold front on here with this narrow band of storms that are moving my way there. So that's kind of cool to see that on radar. And we do have the potential to see some mixed precipitation later this morning. Looking at that precision cast, we can see that showers will be out of the way hopefully before noon today. It's looking around 10 o'clock there, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's still spitting right up until noon. And after that, we should just be dealing with the clouds. So let's look at the temperatures for today. So 9 a.m., 38 degrees, still dealing with those isolated light showers. However, we still have that wind, which is going to make walking not fun whatsoever. Moving on to 12, it'll be a little colder, 35 degrees. And at 5 p.m., 35 again. However, we could be seeing the sun trying to peek out. So hopefully we'll keep our fingers crossed for that, get a little light in our lives there. Forecast for tonight, it'll be partly cloudy, low of 22 degrees, but I want everybody to see these winds west at 10 to 15. So they'll be blowing today. However, on Saturday, it'll be much, much more. We can see 15 to 20 miles an hour out of the west for your Saturday forecast. Also with Saturday, we are tracking the chance of some morning flurries as we see temperatures go well below the freezing mark. Sunday actually is looking quite nice. It's going to be sunny outside, 37 degrees, so we're warming up a little bit, and look at that. The winds will be dying down as well. So Sunday is going to be somewhat enjoyable as opposed to Saturday, that is. Looking at these winds for Saturday, we'll start off Saturday at 9 a.m. Moving through, we can see Saturday 4 p.m. We can see northwest almost 30 miles an hour here in Muncie, 29 here. Same deal in Winchester there, so do take that into account if you have any plans for Saturday. So you definitely want that coat, and you just want to watch out for those winds there. And as we can see, they will be dying down for the rest of the weekend as well. Futurecast, so looking at those chances of flurries, we can see Saturday early in the morning. So if you're up and at it, you definitely could see this here. Moving through the area in the morning, should be out by 10 o'clock tomorrow, or excuse me, on Saturday morning there. So do keep that in account, and there won't be any accumulation from that whatsoever, but just keep that, it may limit visibility as well. Now on our mid-7 we can see today our high was 54. We already hit that a couple hours ago. Cooling down for the weekend, but looks good news for next week as we see the first day of spring on Monday. So it's kind of a bummer this weekend for this forecast, pretty much a lousy forecast of snow, rain, and wind. It's kind of unfortunate, really.
But you know what? As we start to see that, like you said, that cold front move through,
yeah,
we're going to see those warmer temperatures, and I think we're all excited for that, especially with spring.
Oh,
just
my
3
goodness.
days away.
Absolutely. We've been on a roller coaster lately, actually.
Yeah, as you say, roller
Exactly.
coaster. All right, Jack, thank you so much.
And in just a moment, scientists might have found a new dinosaur, plus a family in Florida caught an unexpected fish on their trip.
Yeah, that's after your weather now.
From the heart of Ball State to the heart of your community, NewsLink Indiana brings you local and state news you care about. We pride ourselves with giving you the most reliable news coverage, stories that affect you, linking you to the community each night on air and online. NewsLink Indiana, bringing news to the heart of your community.
Welcome back. You know those long necks in the land before time? Well, paleontologists think they've identified the longest neck members of the Littlefoot's family. The plant-eating sauropod has a neck that could extend 10 feet past a school bus and a scientific name that's just as long. In fact, its almost 50-foot neck might be a record holder. This is according to a new analysis out of the Journal of Systematic Paleontology Wednesday. Experts say the animal's bones are hollow like those of birds, and that probably helped it support its neck. Paleontologists believe this dinosaur lived in what's now China some 162 million years ago. Wow, what a long time ago.
Right, yeah, and it's hard to pick the best part of this next story. A vacationing family fishing in Florida and a shock to reel in with a great white shark.
The kids on board became adorably ecstatic, and the family doesn't just catch a massive carnivore. They're also catching the whole thing on camera. Lynn Martinez has that video.
What do you think? Best day ever. The best day ever is how this little guy is describing this incredible fishing adventure. He and his family were out on the water in Fort Lauderdale when they nabbed a great white shark.
Here he is. 100 by 50.
The family, who's from North Dakota, says it came to South Florida for an exciting fishing trip. So they booked a shark fishing adventure with Good Hit Sport Fishing. But they had no idea how eventful this trip would become. Well, in the fight to catch another fish, one of the men say they felt a great tug on their fishing line.
All of a sudden, when it hit the one rod, it just hit it and it took off. So we knew something was big.
The shark was so big, it took all three men to reel in the big guy.
We were alternating turns left and right. Probably, 20, 30 cranks, and then the next guy was on.
After about 40 minutes of tugging and pulling, they were finally able to reel in the big guy. A catch like this is extremely rare in South Florida, they say. In fact, it wasn't until they saw the reaction from the boat captain that they knew how special the capture was.
I've been doing this 20 years full-time as a captain, and that's the second one that I've landed. The last one was about 15 years ago.
With that in mind, everybody decided to keep this memory forever by snapping a couple of pictures and videos before letting him go, and the kids decided to give this large fish a cool name to remember him by.
We named it Koufax Crusher.
All right, it's about that time where we feature our Adopt-A-Paw of the Week. As you know, every week on Cardinal Weather, we highlight an adoptable pet from Muncie Animal Care and Services.
And this week we meet a playful little guy who's awaiting his forever home. Give a warm welcome to Stu. Look here, he's about 2 years old and is believed to be a Ridgeback mix. While he's very quiet, Stu is also very playful and a laid-back guy. He is dog selective and unsure about cats. Now, if you're interested in adopting Stu or any other pet, just head over to thecityofmuncie.com. And today is the day everyone gets to be Irish in spirit while celebrating the nation's culture, music, and Gaelic heritage. The annual observance on March 17th recognizes Ireland's patron saint, a Christian missionary who converted the Irish people to Christianity. But now here in Muncie, they're hosting a parade which will begin at 6 p.m. at the Muncie Central Fieldhouse parking lot, will proceed south onto Walnut Street, onto Charles Street, and return via Mulberry Street. So be sure that if you're looking to celebrate today, you get out to the parade at 6 p.m.
Yeah, and hopefully by 6 p.m. that weather will kind of, that almost bullet type rain, it's gonna kind of die down.
Should be out of here around like noon. We should be seeing the end of that. We'll just be dealing with some clouds for the rest of the day. So that'll be quite nice. But taking a look at our 7-day, we can see that Saturday, though, is not going to be a good time. 29 degrees as a high with those scattered flurries in the morning. However, Sunday and Monday, we'll be seeing the return of sun, especially for the first day of spring. So that'll be quite lovely to see. And as we can see towards the end, middle and the end of the week, we'll be warming up into the 50s and the 60s return. However, with those warmer temperatures, we will also be seeing some rain as well.
Okay, you can't complain about that. All right, thank you so much,
Definitely.
Jack. That's all that's all this morning for Cardinal Weather. Thank you for joining us.
And we'll see you next Friday. Have a great rest of your Friday and a fantastic weekend.